Now, the race to become the new Conservative Party leader is down to just two candidates, Kemi Badenoch and Robert Jenrick. But on television last night, Kemi's suitability was put into question by fellow Tory MP Sir Christopher Chope.
As much as I like Kemi, I think she's preoccupied with her own children, quite understandably. But I think Robert's children are a bit older, and I think that it's important that whoever leads the opposition has got an immense amount of time and energy. That you can't spend all your time with your family as at the same time being leader of the opposition. You could argue that Margaret Thatcher's family suffered as a result of the commitment and dedication which she gave to leading our country.
Well, I don't know how Robert's children are feeling this morning, knowing that their dad isn't particularly bothered with them. Kemi hit back, saying it isn't always women who have parental responsibilities, men do too. So, Mylene.
I mean, I love this. I think it is a gift. So if you're the opposition, I would take that clip and I would run it and I would run it again, because it's a perfect own goal. And nothing more perfectly illustrates how out of touch the people that make rules for us to live by have no clue how we actually live. We're out here grafting. I work with many working mums, and that is not disparaging to the people who are at home, because the reason I work is because I don't know how you stay at home 24/7. It is a really tough job. But ultimately, these rules that we're being governed by, they're being created by people like that. And that is the fundamental problem. I love working with women like yourselves.
What did you find so offensive about that, then?
It's so out of touch. It's laughable. People who are offended by that just really shouldn't be. Save your energy. He is so utterly out of touch that, like I said, I would run it. As the opposition, I would run that.
But nonetheless, a lot of women do feel that, and we've heard it in the news this week, again, Nadine Dorries saying something like, you know, you can't be a superwoman, you can't have it all. We've had this conversation...
Nadine Dorries, who asked me for my agent's phone number.
Oh!
So trying to have it all. I disagree with those comments. They do not help us. They keep us in a little box that actually, you know, bless them having a
Well, that's interesting, because it's a conversation we've been having all of my adult life, which I guess is 40 years. You know, can you have it all, superwoman, etc. So rather than continuing to have the same conversation for 40 years, how do we change it, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, it's infuriating, and I share your kind of pain with it, because you're basically saying if you're a mother, that's all you can be. You know, no more female CEOs, no leadership roles, and it's a load of rubbish. And I agree with what Nadine Dorries said about the Superwoman comment, because Superwoman is a fictional character. She's often animation, and it's suggesting women doing the impossible. I don't want to be tasked with that. I don't want that label, because I'm a real person who can only I can multitask, but I can only be successful in one area at one time. And something I always try to do is to be transparent about my own career and my own journey as a mother, as a family person, as a provider. If you see me on Instagram doing something great where my career looks like I'm flourishing... I mean, a couple of months ago, I was in America. I went for a whole month to make a 5-part documentary series, and I love doing that. That's my dream, what I wanted to do when I was a young girl. Whilst I'm away, Richie's doing all the stuff in the house with the kids, and when I come home, the kids go to Richie when they hurt their knee. Richie knows what reading book they're reading, and that hurts, you know, to feel that he's closer than I am to them. Then I'm home for a bit and have a bit of time off, and I get back close to them, and that's great. And then I'm looking back on Instagram, seeing all my peers and all my colleagues doing this great work, and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of unemployed. Oh, no, am I failing? Am I not earning enough money? And, you know, so whenever I excel in one thing, something else suffers.
Well, where does that pressure come from? Where are you being made to feel like that? Because I look at you and I know what you're doing, and I think it's incredible. And the guys aren't feeling that guilt.
I think it is these labels to be like, well, you chose to go and work and not be a mum.
And provide for your family.
And provide for your family. And a woman should be nurturing, she should be maternal, and she should be happy at home. So if you're choosing what's seen as a privilege to have it all, don't you dare mess it up.
But then can we just redefine what having it all means? I don't think we need to have the 50 houses, 50 cars. Having it all for me is just be able to snuggle up with my kids and know that, you know, they say you're never as happy... what was it? You're only as happy as your unhappiest child, and that is so true.
Yeah.
But actually, it's just knowing what enough actually is.
Yeah, but I
And
mean,
that's
also
just my
just going back
family.
to the basics, the suggestion there is that to be as good a mother as you can be, you cannot work to the level that you need to, and we don't apply that to men. And I mean, I wasn't being facetious about Robert Jenrick. I'm sure he loves his children dearly, but the suggestion is that he could do all that you need to be a leader and, you know, and still have children. So there's still that disparity there.
I think it's
and the whole thing about mum
comparison.
guilt.
Yeah.
And I was interested that you said that you felt hurt that they went to Richie, and I think that's better than feeling guilty.
Right.
Because there are some women who would feel guilty, and I think we should get rid of that idea of guilt, because most women, whatever they do, however they choose to work, you know, career or not career, shouldn't feel guilty, because most women are trying their damnedest to provide for their family, as are, I'm sure, most guys. What were you kind of brought up with, Grace?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's annoying that there's a narrative that if you're a woman and you're a breadwinner, that some reason your children are going to have, like, an issue because you're working all the time. I grew up, when we first moved to England, my parents worked non-stop to make sure we had money, because we didn't actually really move here with that much. So they had made sure they were working all the time, had money for me, even if it wasn't actually that much. And I grew up with more of a work ethic, seeing that. I never had any issue with, oh, my parents always working. It's just like, right, well, that's...
And did you see a difference in your mum and dad?
Yeah, I think because my dad would go out and work really long hours and my mum would work during the day. So it was like... just sort of, I mean, obviously I was sat there like, is this what life is?
Oh, really?
There's a lot going on, this is a lot of work. But
Yeah.
it's sort of like, I don't think I would have been the same person with the same work ethic if I just sort of saw them not really doing much.
That's interesting.
So I think,
Yeah.
it sort of builds you as a person.
Yeah. Do you know what stood out for me was also when he said, you know, having older children, they won't need you as much. And I was like, children never stop needing you.
No.
You know, that's...
And actually, there's not much difference between their ages. They both got 3 children, Robert Jenrick and Kemi Badenoch, and I think they might be 2 years older.
Right.
So they're all school-aged children.